Good day everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be discussing One Piece chapter 1039. Of course, spoiler warning before we begin. And yeah, so first things first, this week One Piece is actually the cover of Jump, and we get an interesting tidbit with that. So we see Kaido in his hybrid and Luffy from their fight, of course, but it says on the cover that the war that tears down an era, and then it also says Wano arc climax. So I'm assuming foreshadowing this arc is coming to an end soon. So yeah, we then jump into the title of the chapter. The title is Top Billing for the official translation, and we get a interesting color page. So this week we step away from the cover story with the Germa, and we get basically all the Straw Hats together on what seems to be some sort of exploration adventure kind of thing going on, all of them dressed for the occasion. And we see Luffy with Chop on his head meeting an actual monkey with jewelry on and a crown. So foreshadowing that monkey, the Luffy, will become the Pirate King, I assume. And we see Robin on the corner in that spread touching a ghost or skull on a what may be a poneglyph or some sort of hieroglyphic on a wall. So yeah, so we then jump directly into the chapter now. So yeah, so the chapter starts off, we see Onigashima close to the flower festival, or the flower capital where the fire festival is going on, that is. And we see Momo is managing to pull the island back ever so slightly away from the people, so that is good. But while he's doing this, he says, is someone calling to me? So he begins to hear someone calling to him, and I'm going to assume that's Zunisha because we saw Zunisha a few chapters back. We then cut straight into Kid and Big Mom after he ran into her with his giant mechanical bull, and we get a better scenery of the area. So the area is in wreck. See a better glimpse of the bull too from the side, and it's almost as big as Big Mom. And we see the soldiers saying Big Mom got knocked off her feet, and we then see the three crews there cheering. So we see Law and Kid's crew cheering on Law and Kid, and we see the Beast Pirates saying, oh no, Big Mom's knocked down, hopefully she's not. And we see she's kinda out of it a little bit, and we get a back and forth now between Kid and Law, and this is essentially that Kid says, that attack has to hurt, so take that. And Law is like, hey Eustace, ready for round two? And this is where we get the banter between them, and that banter is basically Law telling Kid that essentially every time I do a big attack, you follow it up with a flashy attack, and that flashy attack knocks her down, and people think you have the deciding blow, when it's really me that's doing the damage, right? But Kid then says, let's try to finish this up. So let's try to get this over with. And we get a little banter between them again with Kid telling Law he has an attack to finish her, and Law saying he has a bigger attack to finish her. And we have Law asking Kid, what's next? What is your big secret attack that you do? A giant ox now, so what next? A giant hippo, elephant, what? A next giant mechanical animal? And Law's like, yeah, that probably wouldn't work. And Kid's like, shut up, just you stay quiet, I'm not giving you my secrets, we'll see where it goes. And Big Mom gets back up, and this is interesting because now that she's back up, we see the damage that Law and Kid did to her. So Big Mom says that basically the attack Law did to her did internal damage, and that kinda cracked some of her ribs. So Law did internal damage, her ribs are cracked. and you know that this shockwave is very strong. She has to look out for that. Then we see her arm is broken, like literally this part is bended. So that may have been from when Kid ran into her with his mechanical bull. She then says, you know what, I'll give you life, come back to me bones. And she excretes a piece of her soul, I guess, from her hand and puts it into her broken arm and heals it. And we see yes mama. So I'm guessing those are the homies speaking. And she basically begins to laugh. So we then get Law and Kid again, and Law says, you know, I'm going to be honest with you, Kid, all jokes aside, the next round is going to be my last attack, basically. I won't have any strength after this next attack, so it won't miss. I guarantee it won't miss. But so I need you to, and before he could finish his sentence, Kid tells him, shut up, stop giving me orders. So two of them, like kids, bickering. Big Mom then takes this opportunity while they're bickering, and she calls on her three homies, Prometheus, Napoleon, Hera, and she says, here we go. And she calls out the name of the attack. So she uses Mesa Saber, which we saw earlier, with the little cage, a lightning and whatever flames on the sword, and she slices at Kid. And when she slices at Kid with this attack, she essentially slices the ox in half. And Kid is like, that's nothing, this is scrap iron anyway. And he dodges the attack. And Big Mom says, basically she's like, listen here brats, we've been emperors for decades, since the days both of you were kids before it was off your mom's milk. And she sent many people to watery graves. But this leads to the next panel, and that is essentially Kid dodging Big Mom's swing. And he uses his awakening power. And this time he uses it very differently to try to throw Big Mom off. And the way he does this time is he basically assigns the South Pole to her head and the North Pole to a giant debris from the building. And he does it this way to make her stick to it, to stop her from moving around then. So she's unable to move because it's heavy. And he then proceeds to reassemble his destroyed bull, it seems, and tries to charge it at Big Mom. But Big Mom is able to lift all this weight on her back and turn it around into a giant shield, essentially. And it is like, wow, that is ridiculous. Yeah. Big Mom then kind of gets fed up of them, and she's like, why would you add all this extra weight to my back? You know what? Time to end this. And she releases a new attack. And this attack is Mother's Visit Cannon. 3000 Leagues of Misery. And I believe this is named after a manga or anime as well. And essentially what she does is she fires off the attack from Napoleon, it seems. And it seems to be a lightning fire combo attack. But this attack doesn't just come out like a beam. It comes out looking like her, but like the younger version of her. And what's interesting is the people on the battlefield say that this attack seems to be moving and it's alive. And Big Mom herself says, keep going, Misery, destroy those little. So that means the Misery attack is kind of like a homie then. So that's interesting. Kind of ectoplasm. Well, it's fire and lightning, but it kind of like a spiritual kind of Big Mom in a sense. But yeah, but before Big Mom could tell Misery to finish off or destroy those little brats, Law uses tact, and he drops a giant part of the building onto Big Mom. And in doing so, he crushes her. And you know, Big Mom screams, and Law takes this opportunity with Big Mom pinned to the ground. He jumps up in the air and uses Kroom on his sword again. And he sticks her right in the center of her chest, and she's like, not you again, Law. And we see Law's sword basically goes straight down. It passes Yamato, because we see Yamato in the armory, and she's like, what's that? Because the sword passes next to her. and the sword even passes through Onigashima, going straight down into Wano itself. And we see everyone looking on, and Big Mom decides, you know what, Law, you need to get off of me, because she knows how devastating Law's attack is. So she armament hakis up both her hands and begins to beat on her chest, kind of like King Kong, like that, and pummel Law. But Law doesn't let out. He's like, not yet, I must go deeper, and he keeps pushing and pushing. And we see his crew begging him to let go, but he doesn't. And Law then, when he's finally able to, or his sword finally reaches the depth he wants it to, he says the name of his attack, and this time it's Puncher Willy. And we see the attack is so strong it destroys the floor on Onigashima itself and Wano. So it makes a big hole on Onigashima, and then the base of Wano where the sword hit it destroyed that. So ginormous attack, and Big Mom screams out in pain, coughing blood. But we see people looking through the hole, trying to figure out what's going on. We see the moon through the hole. So this is interesting because the Law made an opening for moonlight to shine in. So I'm hoping Beppo shows up, and this allows Beppo to use Sulong to help in this fight, and this also gives a pathway for Killer to come in and help Kid. But Law is on his last legs at the moment. He's tired and he's like, do it, Eustace, do it, Kid. Kid again with the stop giving me orders. But Kid pulls out his secret move finally, and we see that his secret move is none other than a big ginormous F-off cannon. So it seems to be like a railgun of sorts, and Big Mom is like, you rats. We see Law smiling, we see Kid with a serious face, and he's like, okay, and he's above Big Mom, and Big Mom is like, give it all you've got then. You think you brats could beat me? I'm Big Mom. And Kid smiles, and his retort to that is, and that's why we're getting rid of you. Damned punk is the name of the attack. So he calls out the name of the attack, Damned Punk, and we see a big laser fire out of this giant cannon, and it hits Big Mom, and she screams out, her eyes are white, and Law says, your era is over, and the chapter ends. So a few things, a laser came out of the gun, and because a laser came out of the gun and Kid deals with electromagnetism and magnetism, I'm going to assume this is a rail gun. So you'll probably know what a rail gun is. If you don't, plenty of people probably saw it in the Transformers 3 movie when the monsters climbing the pyramid, the big giant transformer, and they shut it down. That's a rail gun. But a rail gun is his OP move, and Law's is Puncher Willy. So interesting. Both of them have massive attacks. I see a lot of people complaining though that, you know, these two of them just leveled up so much, and just recently Law lost to Don Flamingo, Kid got wrecked by Kaido, so how come they leveled up so far? My answer, I don't know, but I'm enjoying it. But yeah, so good progress. I assume Big Mom isn't down just yet. She may get up one more time next chapter, or maybe she doesn't. But again, now that Law has kind of opened this big hole through all the floors of Onigashima because of his sword, I would assume Kid or Law, well, not Kid, but Kid and Law could look up or down and see whether Beppo or Killer is there and call for help if need be, or vice versa. Beppo could see Kid and Law down there, same as Killer, and jump down to help them. That would be cool. So yeah, again, this is a really good chapter. Again, they say the Wano arc climax is near, so maybe, I mean, people have been saying that for a while now, so I would expect this whole arc to wrap up by middle of this year maybe. But that being said, we still have a few things to see. We need to see what goes on with CP0 still. We need to see what goes on with Luffy and Kaido. We need to see Robin and CP0's interaction. So there's a few things we need to figure out still. But all in all, good chapter, good pacing, and yeah, I'll see you all next week. for the next chapter, because I don't think there's a break, so next week for sure. And yeah, again, good chapter, I enjoyed it. It sets up a lot of things. If these two have such big attacks for their final attack, what is Luffy's going to be? Especially seeing that Luffy should be doing an awakening soon, since I mean we got both of them awakening there, and Luffy is the MC, so I would assume he would have an awakening soon as well to keep up with Kid and Law. Also, our next question is, if Kid and Law defeat Big Mom, who's going to take the title of Emperor? Because usually there are 4 emperors, so unless they put it to 5, like how Luffy was claimed to be the 5th emperor, so when Kaido falls and Big Mom falls, Law and Kid take those 2 spots. But then that leaves the question of who would take the other 2 spots when they become available. Anyway, that's all I have to say, guys, and I'll see you all next week for the next review.